The room shakes the moment your silence breaks. Do you hear it? That sudden gasp in the air when a ghost finally decides to show its face. You were invisible, a shadow, ignored, dismissed like you were nothing but background noise. But the moment you decide to breathe louder, the world feels the weight of your lungs. Every second you spent hidden was not weakness, it was calculation. Boone, you're not here to participate. You're here to rewrite the script they swore was untouchable. Power doesn't arrive with permission. It doesn't knock. It kicks the door open with bloody boots and dares the world to stop it. That's what this is. You are the explosion no one saw coming. Yesterday, just a rumor. Today, a storm tearing through everything delicate and safe. People cling to their routines like life jackets, but your chaos drowns them. It strips their comfort from their hands and forces them to look at what they fear most. Someone who doesn't play by their rules. Someone like you. Do you feel it? That electricity crawling under your skin, begging to be released? That's not madness. That's truth screaming to be heard. Every suppressed word, every locked up thought, every fracture in your soul has sharpened itself into a blade. And tonight you're not carrying it. You are it. Sharp, unpredictable, deadly. You don't seek applause. You don't beg for attention. You demand it by existing, by breathing, by daring to stand where no one else had the nerve to. And here's the secret. The most dangerous creatures don't roar. They whisper. They walk past unnoticed until the floor cracks under their feet. That's you. That's the shift. No grand announcement, just the quiet realization that the world has a problem it can't cage anymore. You went from background shadow to frontline threat in 24 hours, not because you asked for it, but because the world finally realized it can't ignore the storm sitting in the room anymore. And that storm is laughing. When the mask cracks, the monster doesn't hide, it grins. You know the mask I'm talking about, that polite smile, that obedient nod, that empty little act you've been performing to make the world comfortable? Well, it's shattered now, pieces on the floor, and in its place, a grin carved out of chaos. A grin that tells the truth they're too terrified to face. You were never soft, never harmless. You were sharpening your teeth in silence, waiting for the perfect night to bite. And now, the bite is here. Look at them, their eyes wide, their voices cracking. They thought they knew you. They thought they could predict you. But predictable is a leash, and you just chewed it off. Every polite little performance, burned. Every compromise, gone. You are the version of yourself they prayed would never show up. And isn't it funny? The same world that ignored you yesterday suddenly wants to control you today, but they can't. Not anymore. Because you're no longer wearing the costume they stitched for you. You stitched your own. And it fits like fire. Do you know the beauty of breaking the mask? Freedom. No rules, no scripts. No expectations to choke on. You speak in chaos now. Every word a spark. Every pause an explosion waiting to happen. And they'll call it madness, won't they? They'll call it dangerous, reckless, unhinged. But deep down, they wish they had the courage to do it too. To let their real face out. To stop obeying the chains they wrapped around themselves. But they don't. They won't. That's what separates you from them. This grin you wear, it's not for show. It's a warning. It tells the world that you're not here to blend anymore. You're here to unsettle, to disrupt, to make their safe little routines tremble under your footsteps. The mask is gone, the grin is permanent, and the monster they feared in whispers has finally stood up. And oh, it feels good to watch their fear. It tastes even better. Every weak voice echoes the same line, "Stay in your lane." That's their anthem. The choir of the ordinary, the desperate cry of those who never dared to step out of the painted lines. You hear it everywhere, don't you? Whispered at work, mumbled by family, screamed by strangers who barely know your name. Stay small, stay silent, stay predictable. But here's the punchline. Lanes are for traffic, and you were born to cause the collision. They build these lanes to keep people tame, to keep them docile, to make them believe that coloring inside the lines is some kind of virtue. But you're not here to color. You're here to rip the canvas in half and paint the walls with your fingerprints. That's what terrifies them. Not your mistakes, not your chaos, but your refusal to play the game by their little rule book. And the second you ignore that chant, stay in your lane, you become untouchable. Listen closely. Those who scream the loudest about lanes are the ones most afraid of being forgotten. They want everyone trapped, because if you break free, you expose their cowardice. You remind them of what they could have been but weren't. That's why they hate you. That's why they whisper about you behind closed doors, because you're doing what they never had the courage to even imagine. And every step you take outside those lines is a knife twisting in their fragile little ego. So don't just step out, break the lane, burn it, salt the ground it was painted on. Because when the dust clears, the world won't remember the drivers who stayed between the lines. The world remembers the wreck, the crash, the chaos that forced everyone to look up. That's your lane now. Not the road, not the paint, the impact. And it's about to leave a mark they'll never erase. Darkness wasn't a prison. It was your laboratory. While they slept, you were awake. While they shouted, you stayed quiet. While they wasted themselves in the spotlight, you sharpened yourself in the shadows. That's the secret, isn't it? Silence isn't weakness, it's camouflage. Every second you spent hidden was a lesson. Every lonely night was training. And now, when you finally step out, you're not raw, you're lethal. People think the shadows swallow you, that they bury you. But what they never understood is that the dark is where predators learn to hunt. You learned patience there. You learned control. You learned how to make silence louder than any scream. And now, when you move, it terrifies them, because you don't stumble into the light. You stalk into it, step by step, like someone who already knows the outcome of the game. The beauty of the shadows is this: no one saw you coming. They thought you were gone. They thought you quit. They thought you were just another ghost swallowed by life. But you weren't dead. You were waiting. You were designing a comeback sharp enough to cut through their illusions. That's why the reveal hits harder. Because nothing is more terrifying than realizing the shadow you ignored just turned into a storm standing in front of you. And now they panic. Because shadows don't stay shadows forever. One day they grow teeth. One day they take form. And when they do, the world wishes it had paid attention earlier. But it's too late now. You didn't just survive the shadows. You mastered them. And the moment you step out, you're not the same fragile thing they left in the dark. You're the weapon the darkness built. And that weapon is finally free. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the leash in your hand. Everyone's terrified of fear. They run from it, hide from it, pretend it doesn't exist. But you learned to look it in the eye and laugh. You didn't push it away. You tamed it. You bent it. And now it doesn't control you, it controls them. Every time they see you, every time they hear your name, the unease in their chest is the proof that you've already won half the war. Fear is your weapon, and weapons are made to cut. Think about it. Fear is the most loyal soldier. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't hesitate, it spreads faster than fire, and it lingers longer than scars. That's why you wield it. Not to scare yourself, but to choke the ones who thought they were above you. They thought their words could break you. They thought their silence could erase you. But the moment they feel that knot in their throat, the shiver down their spine, they realize you're not beneath them anymore. You're above them, watching, waiting, smiling. Here's the trick. You don't even need to raise your voice. You don't need to shout. You let fear do the talking. You walk into the room and their pulse betrays them. You pause for a second too long, and suddenly they're drowning in their own imagination. That's psychological warfare. You're not just in their world anymore, you're in their heads. And once you live there, rent-free, you own them. Every thought, every move, every sleepless night. Fear is not your chain, it's your crown, and you wear it proudly, because only the weak treat fear like poison. The strong, they sip it slow, let it burn through their veins, and then spit it back as fire. That's you, the fire they can't put out, the nightmare they can't silence. The living proof that fear never kills the ones who master it. It only kills the ones who run from it. Power isn't handed over, it's ripped from clenched fists. That's the brutal truth. Nobody is waiting to crown you. Nobody is writing your name on a golden list. They clutch onto power like it's oxygen, and they will never share it with you willingly. That's why you don't wait. You take. You snatch it in the chaos, in the silence, in the very moment their grip weakens. For a split second, that's the moment you strike. And when you strike, you don't give it back. The world feeds you a lie. It whispers about fairness, about patience, about earning your turn. But patience is their leash around your neck. Fairness is their bedtime story to keep you obedient. And earning? Ha! That's the trick to keep you grinding while they sit on the throne laughing. Wake up! Power doesn't reward the patient, it rewards the ruthless. It rewards the one who stops asking for permission and learns to carve a place with their own bloodied hands. But here's the beauty. Once you taste it, once you hold even a fraction of it, you realize power isn't a gift, it's an addiction. It fuels you, it burns you alive and keeps you wanting more. And that hunger is what separates predators from prey. Because the weak settle, they accept crumbs. They kneel and call it grace. But you don't kneel, you don't settle. You rise with your teeth bared, ready to tear the whole system apart if that's what it takes. And the best part? The moment you stop asking, that silence, when you no longer beg, no longer explain, no longer wait, that silence is deafening. It tells the world, I'm done playing nice. And when the world finally understands, it's already too late, because power is no longer in their hands, it's in yours. And you're not the type to return stolen things.